I was actually thinking before recording this, should I do a script or do some sort of outline, but I decided not to. And the reason I decided not to is because what better lessons can you get and can somebody teach than what they've actually learned from their own experience, right? So let me take you back. Let me give you a little intro or a little story. So when I was younger, me and my family, we moved around quite a bit. Now, little did I know that this would probably be one of my biggest superpowers, because there was something that I've noticed, and I've started to notice it a bit more as I've gotten older, but I definitely noticed it a lot in my teenage years too. That was the fact that I was never really somebody who cared about people's opinions too much, right? The reason being is because I found that me moving a lot, I realized what the best thing is, and that's just to be authentic. Now, when you're authentic, you can never lose. Reason being is because you're stepping out into the world and you're always being yourself. It doesn't matter about judgment because you'll always be happy. And now this is the exact reason that some people actually like to put on masks, and some people like to, wear designer clothes and maybe they don't have the money, or they like to flaunt certain things when maybe they're not actually in a position to have those things, or they like to lie in order to get into relationships. It's because you believe that you'll be more accepted than when you're honestly yourself. But people know that you're lying. Some cases people don't, but a lot of the times people know that you're lying. So how can you lose when you're just authentically yourself? When you're wearing these things and you're putting a certain image across, how long are you willing to uphold that image for? How long are you willing to uphold that lie? Once you break past this barrier of caring about other people's opinions and caring about everyone's opinions, you actually transcend. You start to go beyond what you thought was normal. Because it is normal to think that people care about you. But the truth is, everyone's so self-centered. Everyone cares about themselves way more than they care about you, especially in this generation. A lot more in this generation. Because we see people, who act like they care about certain subjects and about certain topics, but realistically, they don't care. They still go about their lives the same way because they're just taking in content constantly and then scrolling to the next video and scrolling to the next one. But you don't have to emulate anybody. I see it a lot in young men, right? I'm 22, bear in mind. And I saw like the rise of people like Andrew Tate, right? And I've always disagreed with that based on the premise of this. When I was young, I was always taught to just respect people in general, unless someone is disrespectful to you. But I was always taught to just respect people in general. And that meant respecting women. It meant respecting, it also meant understanding my own morals and understanding where I'm at in life. So when I saw a lot of these men, fresh and fit, who talk about having abundance, having all these different women, I always disagreed. Reason being is because obviously growing up in a single parent household, you see that what that can actually do, of just having different women and having so many kids and not actually being there for them. That can be very detrimental. But not only that, it's detrimental to yourself. Look, as I said, I'm 22. I've got a family of my own. I'm in a very unique position to most 22-year-olds, right? But what I would say is that I knew what I wanted to do. It doesn't matter about other people's opinions, and it honestly never has. Because that person isn't creating the life that I want for me. Only I am doing that. So I can't put their opinions above mine. And that's not to say advice. Like, advice is very crucial. It's very important. I'm always open to criticism if I'm doing something wrong. Let's say even if that comes to being in the gym, my form's wrong, my friends will criticize me and say, you could have done this a bit better, try change this, try change that. Perfect. I'm always open to that, right? But that doesn't mean that every time I step into the world, I think, I can't wear this because what is this person going to think? I can't do this because what is this person going to think? Who cares? The honest truth is, who cares? Let me get back to my point though. So you see a lot of people like Andrew Tate, and I see a lot of young men began to emulate that. So what they saw as being successful, quote unquote, was a guy smoking cigars, a guy who had all of these cars and all of these women. And that was something that they wanted. That was something that they were striving for. And then, of course, you began to see a ripple. And it wasn't even just based on that era, because you started to see even before these people came out. I saw it before a lot of these people came out anyway. The way that people would talk about women, the way that people would address certain situations, they didn't really have a sense of who they actually were. And as I was saying, this is why authenticity is key. Because you don't want to live your whole life regretting the fact that you weren't just yourself for the most of it. That's why these old people don't care. You will see an old man flipping butt-ass naked in the changing room. Bro does not care. I don't care either. I'm not going to lie yet. Since I started going to this new gym, I do not care, bro, because none of it honestly matters. It doesn't matter. It fully doesn't. And when you walk around and you're self-conscious and you're insecure and you're scared, bro, at one point or another, that's going to have to change. So why not just change it now? Why not go on that journey of understanding yourself on a deeper level? Why not journal? Why not read? Why not meditate? Why not stop consuming all these things that just honestly aren't serving you? And what I found is that the happiest people are always the most authentic ones anyways. I saw a video, yeah, and it was this guy dancing like on concrete outside, right? And the guy comes over, is like, why are you dancing here? And he said, why not? Like, there's more space out here than there is in my room. And he was very happy. This guy was very happy, right? And what I've realized is that you could judge those people and say that those people are weird, but he's having the time of his life. And the guy asked him, oh, do you get paid from doing it? He said, yeah, from time to time I've been on the news and stuff like this. And for me, it's amazing to see that, because there was even people in the comments saying, oh, bro's weird and all of this. But do you think he cares? Do you think he reads the comments? He's still going to be out there in the middle of the street doing his dances. You know, and I believe a lot of us need to take this mindset on in a lot of ways. Some things we should care about. We should definitely value our health. We should definitely value these things, but not based on other people's perspective. We shouldn't want to get in shape because we believe that we'll attract more women. We shouldn't want to get in shape because we'll believe that will give us better opportunities. That's not the reason. The reason should be rooted in you prioritizing your health. But we should take a page out of these people's book who honestly just live life and are free. Because you see how happy they are. You see that these material things aren't tied to their personality. You see that even though these people don't have much, they still find a way to be happy. And I don't know if you've heard that story. I probably can't tell it the best right now because I don't know it word for word. But it's when this guy, he goes to a beach and he sees this man fishing, right? And he basically asks the guy what he does every day or something along those lines. And he says, so I wake up early, you know, I go to the beach, I fish, I take the fish back home to my family, and then we sit together, and he's with his family for the rest of the day. And the guy essentially says, I can help you make this a business. You know, what about if I was to get you a sales boat and you could start fishing off of that boat, and then you could build the business and keep expanding from there until eventually you have other people doing that for you. So he keeps asking, and then what? And then you'll be able to do this, and then what? And then what happens is that it just all goes back to the same point where he's fishing and spending time doing what he loves and spending time with his family. So a lot of the times you just have to be the person before you have the things, because insecurity is stemming from you believing that those things will make you the person. Nothing can make you the person. All of that is internal. All of that is internal. And once you realize that all of that is internal, you can begin to materialize these things anyway. As in, if there's a certain lifestyle and certain things that you want to achieve in this life, once you say that you are the person who does those type of things and who has these type of things, not necessarily material things, but has these type of attributes, then you can have anything that you want. Then it doesn't come down to materialism. It comes down to the fact that you believe that you are capable of getting these things. So you get it because your reality just begins to align. Let me put this in terms where it's much easier to understand, right? If somebody wants to get into shape, the quickest route would be to just take steroids, take peptides, you know, do all of this stuff and take Ozempic and whatever it may be, right? That's the quickest route. But who have you actually become in the process? You become somebody whose body is honestly riddled with all of these negative side effects from those things. So have you actually became the person? Have you actually built discipline? Have you actually built the ability to be consistent? You haven't built any of it. And I see a lot of this stuff on Instagram now about people taking peptides and doing all of these things, when honestly the shape that they're in is achievable naturally without any of those things. So what you have to focus on is building the attributes to get you to where it is that you want to be. If you want to be in shape, you do the things that get you into shape. Because if you take the peptides, you do all these things, you're still going to be that same insecure person. Same with Ozempic. A lot of people are taking Ozempic to lose weight. If you take Ozempic to lose weight, eventually you start to put on that weight again. Ozempic does not last forever, and you have not built the habits of somebody who can keep the weight off, of somebody who is consistent, of somebody who is disciplined. I know I kind of went a bit of a tangent there, but it's all the same thing. It's all you internalizing who you are, understanding who you are, and instead of trying to chase the world, chase self-mastery. And don't even chase self-mastery, understand self-mastery. Embody it, but live it. This will help you get so much further in life when you just understand who you are, when you're just authentic, when you have discipline, when you have integrity, when you know where your morals stand. Don't let the world take that away from you. Don't let the world convince you that you have to be something that you don't want to be. Just be who it is that you truly want to be. The world doesn't need more followers, it needs more leaders, especially the way that the world is going. So just be yourself, man. Just be yourself.